You said in your testimony that we can't let sequestration take effect. In Bob Woodard's book, The Price of Politics, Woodard credits you with originating the plan for sequestration. Was he right or wrong?
Well, Senator, it's a little more complicated than that, and even in his account, it was a little more complicated than that. We were in a negotiation where failure would have meant the default of the government of the United States.
And I hate to speed it up. Did you make the suggestion?
Well, what I did was said that with all other options closed, we needed to look for an option where we could agree on how to resolve our differences. And we went back to the 1984 plan that Senator Graham and Senator Rudman worked on and said that that would be a basis for having a consequence that would be so unacceptable to everyone that we'd be able to get action.
So is it unfair that the President says the blame is on House Republicans?
Well, I think
that they originated is what he said.
Senator, the demand for an enforcement mechanism was not something that the administration was pushing at that moment. Our preferred outcome would have been to have there be something on taxes and something on spending. It was unacceptable to the other parties for taxes to be part of it, and the only spending-only alternative that anyone could think of that could be agreed to was sequestration, precisely because it's so objectionable that nobody could imagine it.
I heard your testimony today that it shouldn't take effect. On November 21st, 2011, let me quote the President. Already some in Congress are trying to undo these automatic spending cuts. My message is simple. No, I'll veto any effort to get rid of these automatic spending cuts to domestic and defense spending. There will be no easy off-ramps on this one. What's changed?
Well, the rest of what he said was Congress should work on putting in place policies that make sense to get our fiscal house in order. That is consistent with what he said last night. It's consistent with what I believe. This is not an impossible problem to solve. It would be better for the country if we have an agreement on a framework for solving our fiscal problems and not going into sequestration.
Do you regret suggesting sequestration?
You know, Senator, I look back at a time when a lot of people thought we were going to default. That was not an acceptable option, and I think that it should not have been the case that the good faith and credit of the United States was at issue, but that was what was at issue, and I think we had a solution that frankly should still work. Sequestration is so objectionable that we ought to just do our work and solve the problem.
Jack,